you may think that you have to have it all together before you start your business. And people may go, well, I can't run a business. I don't know enough about math. You know what? I can't even balance my checkbook. I never could, and I still can't. I don't know how to do a business plan. Neither do I. I never wrote a business plan. Turns out you don't need one. What you do need is a passion to give your gift to the world. And I really believe, Reid, that every person has a gift that is unique to them. And if they don't give that gift, it will remain forever ungiven. So a business is just a way to walk your gift into the world and give it, just like you would bake somebody a birthday cake and go, here, I made this for you. That's what it's about. You don't have to know everything before you start. I certainly didn't. You learn as you go, and that's the beauty of the process.
Yeah, so you submitted your book to Hay House UK, and then when I saw it, like, they were talking to me about the book, and I said, well, you know, I like the book's good, but Shann sounds amazing. We'd love to talk to her, and we're real interested in the business because it was so unique and different and something completely different. I remember we met at like a little pub in London, and we talked about everything. And Hay House in the UK, we made an investment in Chuckling Goat to help Shann like expand it and get into more places and get more people to know about how much this could help other people. And like Shann says, really what she does is everything she creates at Chuckling Goat has a reason to help somebody. And then as things started going, people started realizing that, you know, it helped more and more, helps with your digestion. It's like probiotic kind of ideas. What are some of the things that can be helped by, like, you were on a farm in Wales, and you got this goat, and now, I mean, one of the cool things about Chuckling Goat is Shann like is just as passionate about taking care of the goats as she is creating the goat milk. Like, they're all named and they're friends of the family, and she recruits people around her and other farms to make the goat milk because they didn't have enough goats. So, like, tell us some of the creative ideas and thoughts and things you did to really get this all started.
Well, you're right. All of our goats have names and not numbers. They are definitely characters and personalities. And you know, what we believe is that everything matters, that you create a little value crystal. And if it's right at the heart of it, if your values and your passions are right and true, then it will be right as it grows. It's like having a little crystal and then growing in an ice palace. This is what I learned from working with the gut microbiome. It's an ecosystem. And if you starve one part of the ecosystem to feed another part, that's not going to work. So businesses that harm the planet in order to help other people and make money, that's not going to do it. These days, it is too late, I believe, for us to do anything except start businesses that are good from the ground up. And for me, that means good for the microbes, good for the soil, good for the plants, good for the animals, good for the people, good for the customers, good for the world. It needs to be good for the world. And so that's the idea of a value-centered business. I'm not suggesting that people go out and create, you know, doohickeys made from horrible stuff that the world doesn't need, because the world's got enough of those. Yeah. Do something that is the combination of what you love, what you're good at, what you can get paid for, what the world needs, and the direction that the universe is pushing you. Because my experience is, you know, I'm a newspaper journalist, I'm a radio talk show host. I'm not a doctor or scientist. I had no experience with anything, including goats. My husband had to teach me everything, and I had no idea what I was doing. But the universe was just pushing me along all the way. And I tell you, Reid, these days, instead of setting targets, I try to surrender. And the more I surrender, the more the universe pushes me into amazing places that I would never have been able to think in my tiny brain. So I just try to get out of the way these days. I just really try to surrender to the direction the universe is taking me and say, okay, you know, clearly this universe has a bigger plan than I could ever conceive.
Yeah. And so your business, like any other business, has had ups and downs, like it all took off and then there were some struggles. So, what are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned from starting and running this business that you can share with others to help them along this path? Because people are on all different places on their business. Some are just thinking of starting it, some are starting it but struggling, some are booming and having things going great. So what are some of the big lessons you learn? I know you share a lot of them in the book to really take people step by step from starting to going through, but so, what are some of the lessons that you've learned along the way?
I think the most important lesson for me is never compromise, never cut corners. Don't do it. You don't have to compromise what's important to you. You need to figure out what your values are. And I have a whole meditation in the book about how to figure out what your values are. It's not that easy. You say, oh, I have good values. Oh, I don't know. I just want to be happy. You need to know exactly what your values are. Because if you don't have your own agenda, somebody is going to have an agenda for you. So you need to get in touch with that little voice inside your heart. And for me, I lay my hands right here over my heart and say, okay, I try to drop my attention from my head down to here and listen and go, okay, what am I supposed to do next? That's, if you're running your own business, you got to take direction from your heart, because that's the only place. Nobody else is telling you what to do. The other thing I found really powerful was, in any crisis, and boy, we have crises, I tell you what, they happen all the time, especially working with animals, it happens. But there's things that happen. I'll just give you one example. We were, I love the science. Even though I'm not a scientist, I think it's really exciting. This microbiome test came out on the market. Great. I said, oh, I want that for my customers. They're going to really love it. And I'm quite customer driven. I try to stay in close touch with my customers. They're going to love this. But I thought, that's too much data. It was 80 pages of, PDF. Nobody's got time for that. And, everybody's busy. What am I going to do? I'll get a nutritionist who can explain your results to you. Great. I hired somebody, and then we launched the test. We sold 400 in 1 week. It was just, people were going mad for it. Great. This guy quit on me. He quit. He sent me an email and said, I can't deal with this. And I thought, well, that's great, because I've got 400 people who are waiting to talk to you, sir. And I'm in a remote part of the world. There's not a lot of people around here that do that. So I thought, what am I going to do? And my website designer, who's really smart, said, look, how is this an opportunity? This is the question we always ask each other. And in my opinion, it's the one question you ask anytime anything goes wrong. How is this an opportunity? And I went, I don't know. And then I was like, well, if it was an opportunity, how would it be an opportunity? We said, okay, well, we do everything better in-house anyway. What if we train the people who are here to be nutritionists? And do you know that's what we did? We offered that opportunity to everybody, the people who milk the goats, the people who pack the boxes. I said, who wants to be a nutritionist? I will train you. And one person would work while the other person studied, and then they would switch. And by the time those tests came out, I had 6 trained nutritionists on my staff. And of course, that's totally changed the nature of the business. Everyone who answers my phone is now a nutritional advisor. But I would never have thought that up myself. It was the opportunity that came out of the crisis. And see, to me, that's the beauty of actually putting your boots on the road, not waiting till everything's perfect, not waiting until you have a lot of money. We didn't have money. My husband had to sell his motorcycle so we could buy bottles to put the kefir in. I mean, we were broke, I tell you. We were flat broke. This is before you invested, mind.
Yeah.
But we had to pull everything together. If you just jump off the cliff and try it, you will figure it out as you go, and the process itself will be your teacher, and the bad things that happen to you will have seeds of opportunity inside them. So there's a wonderful statistic. 98% of people who start their own business, succeed or fail, report that they loved it and they would do it again. Because it's about how much you learn and how much you experience. And the secret for me, Reid, is really business is just a medium for self-development. It's just one more way that you can actually put your stuff together, and and speed up the process of working on your own personal development. That's what it has been for me, and that's what it is for everyone I've watched.
Yep, that's for sure. And in your book, How to Start a Business on Your Kitchen Table, we made this available for $1.99, the ebook. So all of you thinking of starting it can go download it. It also, you can get the book, but it's available for everybody to get started on their business. How long has Chuckling Goat been going now in business?
We became a limited company in 2014.
Yep, so 6 years.
Yep.
So Shann takes her 6 years, puts it all in the book, and as she says, she was a reporter before in a huge station in Sacramento, right? Like you were like you did interviews and you did things like that for people. And she loves to research, and that's how she got started in the business. She shares some of her tips in there of how she did it each step of the way. A lot of it had to do with coming back to yourself and meditating. It seems like meditation has been a key to your success as well.
It absolutely has, because the world is noisy and the world has a lot of plans for you. There's, 2,400 bids on your attention every day. So what I tell people is you have to create an extra hour for yourself every single day so that you can be in touch with that little quiet voice inside yourself, because that's where you're going to take direction from. So one of the things I suggest is make a morning ritual for yourself that is delicious, that's yummy. It's hard to get up early. I know, I hate to get up early. However, if you have something beautiful to drink and you have maybe an essential oil burner with a lovely fragrance, I like rosemary essential oil, and you have some beautiful music and you have a journal that you really love, then you have all those things that excite your senses, and it's yummy. And so you go to bed an hour earlier, because most people are spending an hour more than they need to watching television or on their phones, and it's not productive time, but they're staying up a little bit too late. So if you can go to bed 1 hour earlier and then get up 1 hour earlier and have a beautiful morning ritual for yourself, then you can journal, you can write, you can think, you can meditate, and you use that hour to get yourself in the zone. And by the time we have 22 people on staff now. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, I walk into a full team meeting and I got to face all those people looking at me, and they are waiting for me to tell them what to do. If I haven't had my own time with my own meditation, listening to that internal voice, I don't know what to tell them. Where do I get my instruction from as someone who runs the business? From right here in my heart. And that's what I recommend for everybody. If anything goes wrong, if you need advice, you just get quiet, put your hands on your heart, drop your attention down, and do a quick little meditation that I talk you through in the book. And you'll listen for that little voice of guidance, and that voice will take you to where you need to be.
That's right. So if you want a little advice on how to get started or how to maybe make your business more successful, I highly recommend Shann's book. Thank you so much, Shann.
It was a pleasure, Reid. Thank you so much.